And when the flood arose, and when the rain descended and the floods came. Okay, so when the rain descended, that needs to come first from Matthew only. And when, maybe I should leave the word when there. And when the rain descended. So yeah, and from both. When from Luke only. Now, the rain descended, that's going to be first. And, so did the floods arose, or should I say, and the flood came? The way that you say it really brings different imagery to mind. When the floods arose, I'm just thinking of a house with water slowly rising around the outside of the house. But when you say the floods came, I actually think of like a flash flood, where a torrent of water is washing down a hill or a mountain or just around, and it beats against the house, which is more violent. So to say, and the floods came, that sounds more like a storm than just there's water outside, like it would sound if I just say the floods arose. Well, in Matthew it then says, the winds blew and beat upon the house. So the wind beat upon the house. In Luke it has more explanation. It says the stream beat vehemently upon the house. So I could keep the word arose, because it then explains that the stream, there is water streaming down and beating upon the house. So yeah, I'll keep arose. I like that word more than just came. Since the meaning comes later, I'll leave the word arose from Luke only. But the flood is both. Floods, plural, that's part of the word floods. I know how I said earlier, if you're adding an S, that makes it plural and it changes. Sometimes it does. Like if you're talking about the days went by, or just the day went by, that would be a big change with the plural. I remember a time earlier when the word was multitude. It could be multitude or multitudes, and I think I went with multitudes because it made it seem larger, grander. But to be honest, between multitude and multitudes, it's not really that different. Not like between day and days. That would be a huge change. Here, I don't think it's a big change, because a flood, like Noah's flood, that covered the whole earth. If I say here, the floods came, it's not larger than the world being covered, the deluge. So, flood or floods, it's like water or waters. That's not a big change between being plural and being singular. So, I guess I'm really going for the meaning of the word, not just plural or singular. When the question is about your house standing still because a flood came and the stream beat upon it, you can't really change the meaning if I say the floods came or just the flood came. The danger is still there. It's not saying the flood is much larger because there are floods. Yeah, so I'm going to go with that. The floods came. And the winds blew. I think I have to say the winds blew first, and then the stream, and then beat vehemently, because beat upon the house is in Matthew, but it just says, and beat upon the house, speaking to what came before, the winds blew. But this sentence in Luke just follows from the stream beat vehemently upon the house. It's all connected directly. So there's no space, there's no comma here. There is a comma in Matthew, so at the comma is where I can put the stream. Which means I have to start with the winds blew. But there's another and here. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon it the house. And it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. Man, Matthew loves these ands. I'm going to skip this and. It's getting really annoying. I'm just going to say the winds blew. Now I'll have and the stream only from Luke. And then beat from both. And then vehemently is only Luke. But the next word upon is both. Upon that house is both. Matthew says, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. Luke says, and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. Okay, could not shake it is way more sturdy than just it didn't fall. Something could not fall while shaking a whole bunch. So I'm going to keep could not shake it. That's much stronger than just not falling. I'll say and is from both, not is from both, and it is from both. Even though they're out of order from Matthew, it's in the order from Luke. And again, I just want to say that they're all there. For it was founded upon a rock. So all that's the same. All of it is from both. But he that hears and does not is like a man that without a foundation built a house upon the earth. Matthew, and every one that hears these sayings of mine and does them not. That's a lot more words than just he that hears and does not. So yeah, I'm going to go with all the words, because this is a pretty long explanation, so you kind of have to bring people back into the understanding of exactly what he's saying. Not just he that hears. He that hears these sayings of mine and does them not. So should I say, and everyone? Instead of and, I'll go with but he that hears, because this is the opposite. And instead of he, I'll just say everyone. Because everyone, that seems more inclusive than just saying he. If it was saying you, I know I've done that before, where I've picked you instead of every, because you, that's more direct. It's speaking to the reader. But this is better. Everyone is better than just saying he. That hears is both. These sayings of mine is from Matthew, and then it goes into and does them not. Luke just goes right to and does not. So Matthew only. These sayings of mine and does is both. Then the word them is Matthew only. Them not. Not is both. Matthew then says, shall be likened to a foolish man. Luke says, is like a man that without a foundation built a house upon the earth. So it doesn't say he's foolish, it just says he's doing this thing, and his house will fall. Should I put shall be likened, or is like a foolish man? The word is and the word shall are almost equivalent, because shall is future, is present. How did it use before? I will show you to whom he is like. He is like a wise man. So I use is. In both these situations, is in Luke. In Matthew it just says, I will liken him to a wise man. Will and shall are equivalent. They're both future. Luke says is, present. Since I go with is earlier, he is like a wise man, I'm going to stick with is like a foolish man here. Just so that they stay as mirror images. Is like... likened? Can I say likened is both? Likened? No, I'm going to go with like, and I'll just say it's only from Luke. Is like a man. Is like to a... A is from both. Actually, a man is both. And then in between a man, the word foolish is in Matthew, which built his house upon the sand, without a foundation. That's the important part. Which built, or that without a foundation built. In Matthew and Luke, they both say which built his house and dig deep earlier for the wise man. So now, I think I'm going to keep which again, so that it's the same. Matthew only. Which, without a foundation, is from Luke only. And then built his house, or built a house. You know, come to think of it, the difference between building a house and building his house, I'm actually going to go with a house instead of just his house. To a, Luke only. I don't want to narrow this down and reduce the meaning of this parable. Built a house upon... No, upon is both. the sand. So house upon the is both. Should I say earth or sand? It would be very dumb, almost unheard of, to build something upon the sand without a foundation. That's pretty obvious. But upon the earth? Sand is a form of earth. So for the same reason why I'm choosing A instead of the house, I think I'm going to go with earth. Although I know that building your house upon the sand, that's a common saying. It's pretty much a proverb now. A foolish man built his house upon the sand. I don't think I've ever heard someone say, you foolish man, you built your house upon the earth. Because that's like how all houses are built. Except that it also has a foundation. You don't need to specify it, but it's almost implied. I don't want to make choices based on traditional repeats of the way a verse goes. I just want it to be the most accurate according to what's written. Without a foundation, you built a house upon the earth. Or without a foundation, you built a house upon the sand. Well, you know, it's supposed to be explaining how foolish this person is, so maybe I should go with sand, because it's just beyond foolish. Yeah, I'll go with sand, because it's just trying to say this is how dumb it is to hear what Jesus says and to not do it. So I'll go with sand. It really forces the issue that it's beyond dumb. Next words in Luke are, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell. And the ruin of that house was great. Matthew says, and the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon the house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. So it's the same to what happened earlier, except obviously now this one fell. But against which? That's how this begins. That didn't begin the way earlier. Earlier with the wise man's house, it says, and when the rain descended. So because this says against which, I might have to start with that. No, I can't. I still have to say all the rest of it happened. The rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew. Maybe I could say against which, then all these others. The rain descended, the floods came, and winds blew, and beat vehemently. And did. Yeah, that's how I can do it. Against which, and then after which, I could put all these extra words from Matthew. Against which the rain descended and the floods came. Yeah, there's no flood in this section of Luke, so I'm just going to go with what Matthew says. The floods came, and the winds blew, and the stream. So the stream is there, so I can go with and. The stream did from Luke, and then from both beat. Luke only vehemently, and then upon from Matthew only, and then upon